we were invited on the set of The Crown. Myself and Jean-Sébastien, my cameraman, will be going on the set tomorrow and after tomorrow to see how Adriano Goldman works. This is incredible for us cinematographers to actually spend a couple of days following another cinematographer. This is a conversation between a DP and a DP. So stay with us, we are actually in London. Ciao! For more than 25 years, I've been shooting films, TV series, and commercials, trying to push the boundaries of aesthetic and techniques. In my quest of excellence, I'm meeting some of today's best cinematographers to get them to share some of their secrets for the good of all cinematographers. The Crown, a historical drama following the ascension of Queen Elizabeth II, acclaimed for its beautiful images and lavish cinematography, earning its cinematographer Adriano Goldman many awards and nominations, including an outstanding achievement in cinematography for non-commercial television at the ASC Awards. It is at Elstree Studios, located just outside London, that The Crown has set stage. Elstree is one of the world's famous studios for being the birthplace of Star Wars and the stage of films like Indiana Jones and The Shining. And as the day breaks and the crew sets up, we sneak up on the set to meet with Adriano. You know, super toys that they use on The Crown, called the Techno Cranes from Panavision. Let's go now. Let's go see the camera crew. We actually know that we're on The Crown when you actually see all the lenses identification with the Queen on it, right? We're on The Crown. We're trying to get Adriano. He's somewhere working really hard, but we'll get to him. Finally.
Well,
Adriano,
as I told you, it's really tight inside.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to receive us on your set.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy and proud.
You're not nervous to have us around, right?
I mean, you know DPs don't like to be on camera, but I can... I'll do my best.
DPs, they don't like that?
To be on camera.
Oh.
No, I want to be behind the camera as much as I can.
Hold the work on stage. We've got Adriano Goldman. It's really nice to be with you, Adriano. Thanks so much.
Likewise. Thanks for coming all this way.
What brings an Adriano Goldman on a set like The Crown?
Going all the way back, it's funny, I remember when I saw Billy Elliot, directed by Stephen Daldry. I really remember, I've always had, even when I was just a movie buff, I always loved films that mix music and fiction. I did a couple films here in London with a producer called Mari Bat, and then she took Stephen to Rio on a first scout for a film called Trash, and then she gave me a call. Would you like to have a chat with Stephen? You mean that Stephen? The guy that did Billy Elliot? Of course I want. They didn't even have a script by then, but we had a very long conversation, and he knew about the fact that I had done City of Men in the slums in Rio, so he was really after a guy that could play with kids and, you know, knew how to, I don't know, how to shoot.
Be mobile.
Yeah, be mobile, be flexible, handheld. And then they disappeared for a couple of years, and then they called me back in 2012. I was in London, so we finally met. He went to Rio, we shot the film, we got along really well. He came back for the premiere. This is September 14, 2014. And then for some reason, I had heard he was getting involved on a high-end, high budget sort of TV show. But Netflix was kind of new. I mean, why is Steven doing this? Why is his next, why he's taking this project instead of another feature? So he came over and said, are you really doing this? He said, yes. So can I do it? I said, why would you want to do it? It's TV. He said, well, Steven, I want to do it because if you see quality on the scripts you've been reading, and if you think this is going to be grand and interesting and exciting, I really want to do it. So he said, oh, if you want to do it, it's yours. I'll just call my producers and we make it work. So it was honestly as easy as that. Good thing about the Crown is the episodes are individual stories. So you're not actually telling a 10-hour story that you have to be absolutely consistent all the way through. So the episodes, they can somehow look a little bit different. But I'd say there's let's say 5, 6 rules that we should all follow. The use of haze, the lenses and equipment they have to embrace anyway. After the production meeting for Block 1, we actually had something that Ben Caron called like a concept meeting. Okay. So we introduced or we presented to the newcomers frames, locations, lighting suggestions. There's a few rules about close-ups, never do close-ups on wide-angle lenses, of course.
But do these rules exist in written, or it's
No. We know, for instance, that shows like Game of Thrones, those guys do have some sort of a Bible, that they present to the new directors and actors, basically.
We're in Buckingham Palace now, huh?
We are.
Like the real green screen Buckingham Palace.
And green trucks.
Green truck. In case we see the truck.
Uh-oh, be careful. Episode 3 on season 3. It's about, and I'm not supposed to be telling much, but anyway, it's a famous, very sad event that happened in '67, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a massive landslide on this village in Wales, and the Queen took a little too long to show up. So the episode basically tells the story about that week. So we're going to Wales in a couple of weeks for 2.5 weeks to shoot mainly exteriors. But some of the houses we scouted in Wales for the interiors are too small. And so they don't give us the option, they don't give us much room to actually move the camera inside. Although the set you're going to see, it's as small as the houses we saw. Of course, by building it, we have a little bit more flexibility and I can light them properly. Ben, am I in shot here? Maybe you introduce the call, introduce Mom, and then you see there's something on the background and you jump 180. Okay, cool. Oh, then because you're going to see her on the background.
And I saw that you have the Venice.
No, that's actually an F55.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you're shooting F55.
Yes, the same cameras we used on season 1 and 2.
Okay.
Season 1 and 2 were shot on Cook Pancras, old Cook Pancras. For season 3 and 4, it felt to me that I could change or I could move ahead in time. So we're now using Zeiss Superspeeds. Okay. So they're nice. They're nice. They're nice, soft.
Old lenses.
Old lenses. They also deliver this nice period look. But for me, I was really trying to find something new. So, and I mean, the workflow works. I mean, Netflix demands a 4K workflow. The camera delivers a 4K. It's small, reliable, good for Steadicam work, good for crane work. So I didn't want to change the entire package. No. So we changed the lenses and we kept the cameras. Yeah.
Ready for you on set, sir.
Thank you. So that's what they're trying to do now, to find a position for the kid and his mom. That's Leah. Just come in here. Leah is our stand-in, so she's playing mom for now. Still on a 25, huh? No, I do like it. Yeah.
I see you're still using smoke.
I am, yeah, when I'm allowed. But a little bit less than seasons 1 and 2.
Oh yes,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because the thing is, there's also a specific concern about keeping it consistent, because some of the locations don't allow us to use haze. So I always have to think ahead in terms of if I'm intercutting 2 scenes, and if I have one location that doesn't allow the use of smoke and the other one does, so how do they intercut? So there's a consistency thing.
Did you try the smoke filters, the new ones?
I did.
Yeah.
I like them. I really do. I mean, they really make the highlights glow, which is really interesting. They kind of mimic smoke, specifically for wide shots. They really work. They really work. So I've been using glimmer glasses throughout season 1 and 2 and 3. Light.
Okay, so you're using glimmer glasses?
Glimmer glasses. Well, basically glimmer glasses, but for specific locations where smoke is not allowed,
yeah.
the smoke filter can play, can help. I do like the glimmer glasses a lot, but they don't give us the same kind of hazy feel, no? I mean, they're really elegant and they really help me to make the highlights glow a little bit without diffusing the whole image. The smokes are a little heavier. So yeah, I use the smokes for specific locations, and glimmer glasses almost like overall, almost for every single shot, yes. Different graduation depending on the lens I'm using. So if I go long, like from the 65 onwards, 65, 85, 100 mil, I just take it down to a half, and then the 50s, 40s, 35s, 25s, I usually use a full glimmer, a full one, yes.
Wow, the recipe of Adriano Goldman on the film, eh? We have it all. That's why we're on set, Adriano. That's cool.
It could be just a little less hot, this last one. Yeah. Thanks, Leah. Thanks, mate. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I saw that you are using a lot of LEDs.
I am.
And it's all DMX controlled also, which is great.
When we're on stage,
okay.
Especially when we're in Elstree, Gallo comes over, the DMX operator.
Yeah.
So we have more control and more, I think you gain speed, basically. And in large locations or large interiors, sometimes he also comes over when depending on the size of the scene and the size of the location. But that's kind of a little bit different from the way I was lighting seasons 1 and 2. My concern is how much light is coming from behind him. One of my main sources on seasons 1 and 2 was the HMI octodome. That if I'm not mistaken, they have 2 400 HMI bulbs inside. So, but you cannot dim them. But I'm really kind of happy to be moving on from the HMI bulbs, specifically the HMIs, to the sky panels, the Cineos that Panavision, the Panalux now build, this new Spider. So I mean, it's just so much quicker to work with them, and then you can dim them like that. And also, I'm always using additional diffusion layers. So you start on a large source. So the octodome, I think it's like 7 foot wide. And then there's always an additional 8 by silk in front of it, and eventually a 12 by silk in front of the 8 by. So it's like how many diffusion layers I can add. But you see, I mean, surrounding us, there's no stands on set practically, but there's lots outside. So this is very much, I think, the method and the look we've been using for The Crown. I mean, lights always coming from outside in, the real use of practical. It's actually raining inside. Can go shallower. Is that wet?
Yeah, it's good. Cut! Good, great.
Oh, because the shoes were there.
Okay, bath next. See you, please.
On the second day, we meet the crew on the streets of London as they set up under a very uncertain sky.
So I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. So what's the plan today? There's a lot of rain coming up or whatever?
I think the forecast is not looking really good. It's mainly an exterior day. We're starting inside this pub. On the Crown, there's always two stories being told. One is the royal family, so you follow the royal family and all the scenes we have with them. And then there's always the political side of the story and the period and who's running for, who's the Prime Minister and her relationship to the Prime Minister. So this is election day in London, and the royal family, some of the members of the royal family are kind of angry by the fact that they're not allowed to vote. So this shows Tony Armstrong-Jones appreciating an election day in London. So he stops on his way to this dinner or lunch, whatever he's about to have with the royal family. He stops and just takes pictures of, the youth. And this is a very interesting way for us on season 3 to actually show the 60s. And it's probably the first time we can embrace more modern architecture, modern design. So, and also rock and roll, the 60s, the new costumes and haircuts. So it's an interesting way to find how London was, in the mid-60s. So it's a very exciting day. It's just hopefully the weather is gonna help us. I don't think we have a plan B. I think we're gonna have to embrace the rain. Hopefully, because in London it can actually help. It's not gonna be a strong storm or something that is actually really challenging or stops us shooting. Yes, yeah.
And I see that you're using the Cineons.
I am, yes. I think
your new toy of the year.
We have definitely embraced the LED sources.
Yeah.
I think last year I would probably using a few 4Ks, a few 4K HMIs. So it's funny, and diffusion. Mm-hmm. So this actually helps me.
Absolutely, it's already diffused.
Give me speed.
Yeah.
It's a large source, already diffused. Going, also through nets and curtains. So it's very, very soft and I like the look. And also it's so easy to change color temperature. You can dim them very easily.
Paul says that he thinks that they are waterproof.
Oh yeah, that's another interesting thing to check today. Yeah. I mean, the 40 mil he was on just gave me this, so I think you should be tighter. Yeah. I mean, it's still a very hard project to shoot. I mean, it's intense. It's 150 days, so it's very tiring and long. But the communication, it just works perfectly because we know each other really well. They know my style. They know what I want. The camera operators can just always, like they just did now. I mean, they come to me and ask about what's the following setup? Should we get ready on the crane? So there's always, they're very, very engaged to the project because, not only because, they're good professionals, but because we really enjoy working together. And I think that makes a big difference for me. It makes me feel much more relaxed, and also even under pressure, like we always are, it gives me more comfort, confidence, and actually time to be creative. Because you don't actually have to think about every single stand. No. They know what I want. So
they become partners in what you do. If you take them like partners, well, everybody's being creative and doing whatever the art you are doing because they're working. But it's
funny how by developing or by establishing a system that it almost works by itself, that also gives the DP much more freedom to actually think ahead, to actually be able to suggest more stuff to the director.
Some of these stills we're doing on main camera in terms of sort of like just finding.
Yeah. So can I try that A camera position because that's going to give you lots. Of course, I felt that on season 2. After season 1, you have something in place to start from. But season 3 is even more interesting. I think we've been learning a lot as a team. So yeah, it's very, very different from just one single project that you come in, you establish, a few connections, shoot your film, and you might not even see that crew again. So this is really, really different. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Where's Ben?
Where's Ben? Go find Ben.
The director of photography not only has to deal with all the technical elements on set, but he has to make sure that he delivers a consistent product for the post-production chain. The LUT, the lookup table, is used to give a specific look to the image generated by the camera as a reference to make sure that everyone gets the right image throughout the post-production process.
How many LUTs? One?
It's basically one LUT, yeah. We
like that idea.
We had tiny differences. I mean, we had different LUTs for different lenses last year because some of the lenses, the Cook pancreas don't match, they're too warm, so you have to take a little bit of the yellow out. I am not a technical person. I've never been technical in the very strict sense. I mean, I like to use them as tools. So that's why every project, the camera tests that I do for every project, that's how I upgrade my whatever technical knowledge by testing and trying different cameras and different lenses.
Heated debate. Let's turn over. Yeah, start over here. You start over here.
We have to adapt. Now, even on a show big like this one, there's nothing we can do about the rain. I mean, we cannot call it, you know, this. We have to just keep going. I can say I much prefer a day like this than a sunny day. I really do. I mean, it's really tricky, although in London the sun is always low, even on the summer, but you fight against, you know, continuity. You know, I'm always fighting to be backlit, so you have to, and eventually you can't because you cannot look the opposite direction because you have more than cars. So sunny days, although I appreciate them, it's always a little bit more stressful, I'd say. I think we found an interesting solution now. So we're going to be on the camera car, on the rig, and we're going to keep a steady cam on standby. So instead of bringing tracks and dollies for the additional coverage, we're just going to jump on the steady cam. This is supposed to be, the whole thing we're shooting today is supposed to be, I'm going to say like 2 minutes long. So it's a mishmash, like Ben calls.
A mishmash,
A mishmash sequence.
Okay.
Yeah. Cut, thank you.
Actually, I mean, this is the end of week 6 on season 3, and it's the first time we're using a camera car.
Yep.
And the main reason, actually, to be honest, is because the actor can't ride a bike himself. And also, we've done this last year. It's amazing from the crane on a rig bike. You get shots that you would never get on a, you know, even if the actor could actually ride a bike. That gives us, you know, profiles, you can move around.
It's actually, the motorcycle is actually attached to the camera car with the techno crane. Let's leave now. They're gonna roll. We don't want to be in the shot. Oh, yeah.
Ben is very concerned or aware, or one of his main goals is to be able to, every time we go outside, it should be about scale. It should be about either, you know, we show grand locations and grand palaces or the real London life, but it's all about showing scale, going on wide angle shots and, you know, just showing London. And this is all good because all those buildings are period right. So even looking way more,
the background, they're all good.
Even the background is good, yes.
A little bit of this, so we put the background there, and then finish.
Do you have a light meter in 2018?
Well, I carry a light meter on my bag. It's in my bag, but I've been using the false color. and the waveform, see?
Yeah.
And then this is the false color. So you, so you see, I can check my exposure there. There's also the waveform, the spot meter. You can actually drag this square and check the exposure there and the level there. Histogram. So but this is what I use the most. I mean, false color. So you see 50%. Green is under 50. This gray is like, let's say, good exposure, and then you start getting your overexposure there. So yeah, usual false color exposure. I'm usually exposing my skin tone. It's around 45% on the waveform.
45 ain't that low, or?
Well,
you like to be low, right? You're shooting a positive image.
Differently from exposing for films, for film stocks. I remember always overexposing my film stocks by half stop, sometimes a full stop. If you shoot 16 mil. My feeling with the digital cameras is that they behave better, and you get a more flexible range if you underexpose just a tiny bit.
Tell me, do you sometimes operate or not?
Not on the Crown. I really love operating, and I really struggle, specifically with handheld work, if I'm not operating. I think I should be operating, or even when I have an amazing operator, the handheld work is always like, I should be doing that, I should be doing that.
But you have a great height.
No, I struggle with my height. You can always do a little bit.
Don't you wear boots or stuff?
Or you can always have a fake shoulder pad.
No.
Just to say, no, I'm joking.
Because I sometimes can figure myself small, but you have a perfect height to be, because sometimes we always
you think so?
Like this. Yes.
Well, the good thing is Ben. I really absolutely trust Ben Wilson. I think he's an amazing operator, and he does have an amazing taste, and he's also an amazing crew manager. So he's always thinking ahead. The Steadicam is already rigged for the next shot. So there's always this speed thing. He does, yeah.
Ready? Coming in.
As the rain comes back, let's see the crew in action.
Good, it's soggy though.
Air dust.
Must be you. I love this man.
and
on the move. Love it.
Well done, Johnny.
Really good, thank you. I've got to see that.
It's funny when you get one take, one shot that excites the whole crew. It's really cool. Because it's funny because the rain, we know it's going to slow us down, and then you get to a moment with it's fun. It's really cool. It's really cool when you get the energy back up, and then you trust. Okay, I think it's going to work after all.
The day in the life of Adriano Goldman, DP on the Crown.
A wet day in my life.
We've been with you for a couple of days, and seriously, you have a wonderful crew. Everybody smiles. There's jokes everywhere. We really felt welcome. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes our travel in London on the set of The Crown.
We'd like to thank Adriano Goldman, the producers, and Netflix. See you next time.